welcome to episode 59 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am your host, Dills, and with me, as always, is Deegan.
Hey, how's it going?
The going's pretty good. How's it going with you?
Not too bad. School will start tomorrow, so that's nice.
Nice! You're a student again. Congratulations.
Yep. Longest strike in Ontario history, I believe, like for colleges.
Is that saying much? Is there a
I
lot
guess, like a month and a half. I got like 30 fucking emails from my teachers, and they're like, okay, we're moving this test to this day, we're bumping all this up to this, like all right, we're gonna be compressing like these 2 weeks together, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
And you're just at home being like, I ain't doing shit. I've already done all my tests.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this semester and the next semester is gonna be all messed up. They're moving it all around, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I've been reading a bit about it, and I hear about it on the radio when I'm going to work and stuff, and it seems a bit like a clusterfuck.
Oh, dude, it's like the way it went was like a month and a half of like I got 4 emails from like the president and Donald Trump. No, like the president of my college. And
he just made an appearance. He's the one who organized the strike for some reason. Nobody really knows why, but
trying to make Canada look bad. But
you look familiar. Where are you from?
Yeah, I got 4 emails throughout like this month and a half from my college president, and it was like, oh yeah, so by the way, last week we tried striking up a deal with the teachers, and they said no, and it was literally like you know what I mean?
Here are your teachers' addresses. Go ahead and egg them.
Yeah, for real. Because the annoying thing is that all they said on day 1 of the strike is we'll give you at least 24 hours for when class starts. And,
right, okay.
But they would sit on information for like a week and be like, yeah, this whole week that you were worried about like when is class starting, obsessively checking emails like 6 times a day. Yeah, that whole week there's no way school was starting because, the teachers denied the deal and we're rescheduling for our next deal in a week from now. But it'd be like, we're rescheduling for like 4 hours from now. And you're like, well, so does that mean you're going to let me know in like 3 hours or tomorrow? Or like super stressful, just like waiting for an email. And then I found it through the news, actually.
You're just sitting there watching TV. It's like, tomorrow, all the college students going back to school. Oh, fuck, what? Ah, shit. You like get up, go grab your textbooks.
I was like at the mall and I like heard that like this classes were starting on the Tuesday, and I'm like, what the fuck? Go check my email. Nothing. For like 4 or 5 hours, nothing. And then I got like 30 emails at once, teachers like saying, all right, class starts at this day. This is what we're doing for the next month and a half.
Thank you.
Bullshit, but whatever. I guess school's finally started. If I want to, I can always just withdraw this semester, get my money back. Wait till next semester where it's less hectic.
Yeah, I guess that's an option, right?
I mean, one thing, I could pass through this semester, but the issue is like, I think I mentioned this before, what happens next semester where I don't know shit because everybody's rushing through all the content?
Yeah, because I guess the next semester you probably have a lot of prerequisites you have to get this semester.
There's things that you, and the thing in my program is that this sounds weird, but the further you go in, the less questions you can ask, as in like the answers you'll get is you learn that from first semester, go into your first semester like notes. You know what I mean? Go into your second or third. Like, you'll be in, like, 5th or 6th. You'll ask a question. Like, dude, you learned that in 3rd semester. I'm not telling you. Go figure it out.
Next thing you know, you're sitting in on your first semester classes again just to try to get some answers.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's 2 semesters for the price of 1.
Yeah, pretty much. But, yeah, anyways, school stuff. Besides that, non-RuneScape related, been playing a bunch of Battle Right. I think I mentioned this a long time ago.
Probably. Was it ever an early access game?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah, I'm almost 100% sure you mentioned it then.
Yeah, it's like the successor to Bloodline Champions, which they're both like it's not a good way to describe it, but it's like World of Warcraft arenas meets a MOBA. And the only reason why I say it's a MOBA is because it's top down, like it's a bird's eye view. But
multiplayer online battle arena.
Yeah.
The acronym. Okay, cool.
But it's kind of like WoW arenas and stuff where it's all about like cooldown management, positioning, and owning some noobs, I guess.
Oh yeah, the classics.
Yeah, that game it's so much fun, but man, you get some real people always say like Dota and like League have really toxic communities, and I guess RuneScape too as well. Not RuneScape 2, like Old 7 as well, But but I find with Battlerite, it's either you'll find like some of the worst people, like the most scummiest people alive, or some of the nicest people. There's no it's either the person doesn't talk, they're really positive, or they're like, go eat a dick, you fucking loser, you suck.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's really weird. It's like one thing I've noticed.
Online gaming in a nutshell right there.
Yeah, I bought the Founders Pack, on, the day one, and so everyone knows I bought the Founders Pack when I join in, because people get, bonus experience and shit, and if I start beating people, they just, flame me and, you're a fucking Founders loser, fuck you, it's, it's weird.
Alright then, so I'll stay away from that game. Protect my own mental health.
I mean, it's really fun, but I have copy and pasted /disable chat, just so I can disable it and not deal with people.
It's hotkeys to the spacebar.
Yeah, pretty much. But I don't know, it's a really fun game. If you like flaming people, then you might like it. If you like being really positive, you might like it. Anyways, RuneScape related, I just bursting. I haven't done too much bursting. I'll watch Stranger Things, the new season, while I'm bursting and stuff like that.
How is it? Any good?
Bursting? No. The Stranger Things, it's pretty good. I kept saying that season 2 was just them milking season 1 for money.
That's what I thought when I saw the trailer. It's not that I thought the trailer was bad, but I thought season 1 was so good that you should just have left it at season 1, because going to season 2, you're just you don't want to. Trying to think of a show that killed it by doing too many seasons.
Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah,
Lots of shows.
I haven't seen any of the Netflix seasons just because of that.
Oh, if you're into anime, Death Note, I guess.
Really?
Bleach has a lot of seasons. I'm not big into anime, but Bleach has a lot of seasons that are literally filler. Yeah, Death Note. I don't really know. A lot of shows, yeah. But honestly, season 2 is it's really good. Somebody told me there was only 7 episodes in the season, and when you open up the episodes on the Netflix thingy, it only shows 7, and I finished episode 7. I'm like, that's the season finale, and then it goes to 8, and I'm like, oh shit, there's another. I'm oh my god. But yeah. So I've just been bursting while watching that, and it's I need to do 20 hours total of bursting. Implying I don't die. 94 magic.
You need 20 hours to do that?
From 88 to 94, it's 20 hours. Because I needed...
What are you, bursting one monkey?
No, dude, 200k experience an hour. I round down, but 200k experience an hour, and then I needed 4 mil, or maybe more than 4 mil? I forget. I have it all written down in OS Buddy, which isn't up right now. But comes it to 20 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't remember it taking that long at all. Then again, I might have been off for a week, and I know I was playing League of Legends on the side.
Yeah.
So that might have helped.
You probably spent a little bit more. If you're getting 150k an hour when you're doing it in Monkey Madness 1?
I think 130 even.
Yeah, so I'm getting almost double that. I remember you were bursting for a couple weeks. It was a process.
Should go back and listen to the podcasts.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You did that in the beginning. But yeah, so 20 hours. I still got a decent amount to go. I'm not even 90 magic yet. And a lot of it is I plan to do it, but I'm so worried. I had 20 or 30k casts on me, and I'm really worried about me just forgetting I'm playing RuneScape and then dying. And that happened to me. That happened to me while I was doing Slayer, but I didn't die. I auto logged and my cannon went missing a couple episodes ago.
Right,
like
I remember that.
10 or so, and I was like, oh, I gotta buy a new cannon. But then I found out you can just get it back.
Yeah, I was going to say. Bring that Ring of Life. That defense cape. Bring the defense cape.
You know, you gotta go for that max mage bonus. You need the Sears cape. I mean, the Sears ring, the magic cape, the Sarah cape, or whatever.
It's like a +3 magic accuracy, though.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I bought a Master Wand in the Mage's book. You know, I bought the Eternal boots. You gotta go full magic bonus.
Shit.
Yeah.
Full on Dumbledore?
Yeah, for real. I don't have enough for like Third Age or Code Eyes or anything, so fuck that.
Word.
Yeah, I don't know. I could probably hit it this upcoming week, but I doubt it. I don't know how much time I'll have to play RS.
Fair enough. Oh, hey, if you drop out,
Yeah,
think
exactly.
full-time
dude.
RuneScaper.
Yeah, dude. I think that's it for me. Nothing really too interesting.
Nice.
What about yourself?
So, let's see. What did I do? Shit. So last week, I was at a shitty apartment with the worst internet I've ever had. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that. I was defaulting to using my my hotspot off my phone because I found that it was better. A better connection.
Mm-hmm.
So then since then, I've moved to another apartment on the weekend, another basement apartment. Internet was better, but I was playing on like stools, and I had my TV tray that I'm bringing around everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So it was like just not an optimal setup. And I couldn't even set up like my microphone and shit. It was just so it was a nice place, but just cramped, and I couldn't find a good spot for the microphone. So yeah, our schedule for podcasting has been a little fucky lately. We're bad podcasters, man. Mm-hmm. But you know, it is what it is.
Part of it's my fault too, but
just I'm so sick of moving around because I have a place that I stay from Monday till Friday, and then Friday morning I got to pack up my car for everything. When I get home from work, I got to go to the new place that I stay till Sunday. Then I pack everything up on Sunday, move to the next place, and I've been doing that for since the first week of November. So I think I got one more week to go. But anyways, I'm set up in the new place. The new temporary place for the week. And it's better. It's more spacious.
Mm-hmm. That's
good
good.
Connection. Yeah. Anyways, moral of the story, I have shitty internet, and it seems like this internet's better, but not perfect. So hopefully it doesn't get too janky this episode. But with that being said, what did I do on RuneScape? So I finished my Cerberus task last week. Did my whole Hellhound task on it. Got like 150 kills, I think. Or 130 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not bad. I got like a 2 mil drop, one of the crystals. That's decent.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah, I was pretty pumped.
Yeah, man. Easy money.
So then I decided that if I'm going to be spending a week with like the worst internet imaginable, I may as well do the worst skill imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
And decided to spend most of that week doing rune crafting. So yeah,
Nice.
I was doing the ZMI, which is shit. What the fuck does ZMI stand for? It's the Iranian altar.
Yeah.
Do you know? We talked about it before when I was first bringing out. But let me look this shit up real quickly. Zamarok Magical Institute. All right, there you go. That's the acronym for ZMI. So
Nice.
Have you ever done that?
No. All I've ever done is like nature runes and double cosmics.
Okay, fair enough. Well, ZMI is just, I don't know if it's more of a less tedious way of rune crafting, but you basically run on this path to this altar, and I'm pretty sure you can do it at any level. And so your rune essence have a chance to turn into any single rune that you can normally craft.
Mm-hmm.
And the higher your rune crafting is, the better chance you have at the better runes. Yeah, so what makes this kind of tricky, though, like the downfall is, well, first off, the path you have to run, there's a long path and a short path. No one does the long path. You just do the short path. And there's monsters that are going to kind of attack you while you're running. So you go to this one world, and there's like a bajillion people in that world running it. So it lessens the chance of you actually taking some hits. And there's, at the entrance of the Oranian altar, there's a guy who can like act as a bank at the cost of 20 runes. So the trick to doing it is, first off, you want to be on Lunars because there's a teleport that brings you to the entrance of the Iranian altar.
Okay.
And you want to bring, like, I was bringing Mind Runes because that's the cheapest runes you can bring that you can exchange with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd buy like 10k Mind Runes. You bring Law Runes and the Astrals or whatever it is you need to teleport with. You put them in a rune pouch. And yeah, you kind of run the path, go to the altar, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. The Rune S. I don't. What do you call that thing? The Rune Rock?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. The rune crafting altar. I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay. Never really had to describe it. But anyways, yeah. Then you make your runes, and then you teleport back. Use the Iranian teleport. Then you run to the banker and bank your items. But a little trick I found out, because not a lot of people were doing this, you'll find, and I was also asking other people, like, what's the most efficient way of banking? Because when you turn you have, like, let's just say 28, probably like 35, actually, if you have the rune pouches.
Mm-hmm.
But you're making a bunch of different types of runes. So you'll have, like, handful of airs, fires, earth, some nature runes, cosmics, one blood rune, one death rune. Like, you got a shit ton to deal with. And it's kind of a pain in the ass to just singularly have to click them to put to the... Sorry. It's a huge pain in the ass to singularly deposit them into your bank. Singularly, is that even a word? But anyways, you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So what you find a lot of people were doing is they just drop a bunch of runes they don't want. You'll find like a shit ton of different runes just scattered all on the ground because people will teleport and then drop them as they're running to the bank. And some people even just drop the nature runes and the death runes. Because they're just like, I guess they're just there for the experience, right?
Yeah.
So technically, if you wanted to just make some free money, you could just stand there and loot all the runes that get dropped. But hey, do whatever you want to do. But anyways, I found this little trick that really helped me. It really helped me quickly bank, and it helped me keep all my runes. So basically, you take out your full graceful, your your staff, whatever you need, the rune pouch,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever it is. And then there's an option in your bank, and you might be aware of this or you might not, because I've never had to actually use it. I forget it's there sometimes until I actually needed it this time. But there's an option where you can fill all your empty spaces in your bank with like a placeholder block, which prevents you from putting anything new into your bank. So I don't know if you're aware of that little system they have there.
Yeah, in your bank? Yeah. I know about being able to add placeholders to your bank.
Not placeholders, but it like a placeholder that is nothing, so you can't put anything in that spot.
Yeah, like the red things, like the no smoking thing?
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, you do that, and this way you can click deposit your inventory, and it will throw everything except for your rune pouch and your rune essence pouches. Because as long as you take out the placeholders and you fill them up with blocked placeholders, yeah, you're able to bank every single rune you make from there. So, the only reason I was bringing that up because I saw a lot of people dropping their rune essence, not the rune essence, sorry. I saw a lot of people dropping their runes that they didn't want to keep.
Yeah.
And I just felt like you were losing so much money by doing that. Yeah, so if you do ZMI, that's a little trick for you guys out there. And yeah, so anyways, I got to about 65 rune crafting, something like that. And yeah, I don't know. It's slow as fuck, so kind of expected more from a week's worth of grinding, but there, it is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And wow, holy shit. Here, so yeah, apparently I got to use a hotspot in this place as well. Fuck.
Damn,
Thought
dude.
this Wi-Fi is not bad for playing RuneScape, but it sucks for Discord apparently.
Yeah, that's just Wi-Fi in general, I think. Wi-Fi is pretty bad.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
What?
I have it on airplane mode. I just received like 13 messages. Not 13, actually, but.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, I guess my Wi-Fi was just decent when I was living at my actual place, my actual house, not these Airbnbs. I guess they cheap out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never had a problem like this before. This is frustrating. But anyways, I'll continue on. Yeah, I went back to do some Slayer when I got to a better connection at a different Airbnb, but I don't know, I felt like I was getting a little bit burnt out of Slayer, so instead I decided to switch it up and started trying out the Wilderness Slayer. Have you ever tried any of those yet?
No, I've never done Wilderness Slayer.
Okay, well, it's all right. Like I did a bit of it. I maybe 4 or 5 tasks in, and I guess, but you're familiar with how it works, though.
Yeah.
Like you talk to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talk to the Slayer Master in Edgeville, and she kind of gives you a random Slayer task. And the nice thing about it is that, let's say you're a low level and you didn't want to deal with some of the shittier tasks. If you go to the Wilderness Slayer, she'll give you a chance to give you any monster in the wilderness. It doesn't matter what level you are. So that could be good or could be bad, depending on who you are and what task you actually get.
Mm-hmm.
One of the negatives, though, is if you're a high level, like max combat or something, you have a chance of getting, like, skeletons as a task, or bears. So yeah, I did a bit of that, and it's pretty fun. Sort of. No, it's not bad.
Well,
I got PK'd a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean a lot. Which is, like, at first was kind of fun to run away and, like, oh shit, I'm being chased, and then I realized I'm spending hours on this greater demon task. Maybe not hours, but like.
Are you at the demonic ruins or something?
Shit. Yeah, it was probably the worst place to do it. But the reason I was doing it there is because your prayer never drains.
Yeah.
So I was able to bring a bunch of food and then some gear, and I didn't have to worry about running out of food or running out of prayer. It kind of got me kind of thinking about this whole PvP versus PvM fiasco.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to discuss this real quickly. It's a quick little tangent, but you'll often hear a lot of the mods say that they're trying to start this little ecosystem in the wilderness where you'll have a hotspot for PvMers to go. Let's use Callisto as an example, because I was also there, and shit. It's like you would get one kill, and then the next kill you'd show up, and there's PKers there ready to kill you.
Yep. Exactly. And so that's why I bitch about it.
It's like a 50-50.
That's why I'm bitching about it every episode.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm not like shitting on people who are PKing PvMers, because hell, I've done the exact same thing. You know what I mean? I'm the exact same so I can't really complain too much, but it just like it got me thinking about this whole ecosystem that they keep on trying to bring into the wilderness.
Yeah.
Say you have a hotspot for PvMers to go, Callisto, we're going to use as the example. And then you have a solo PKer who's PKing PvMers. He'll show up to kill you. And the idea is that eventually you'll have another PKer who's coming to kill that PKer. And then you'll have a group of PKers who are going to PK that player. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes this little cycle where, like, sure, the PvMers are getting attacked, but hey, there's going to be people who are out hunting for people who are attacking PvMers. Because most of the time, almost all the time, a PKer is going to have a much bigger loot drop than a PvMer, unless that PvMer, for some reason, brings too many items or forgets to protect item, or maybe he's staying for more than one kill and he has a bunch of loot on him. But one thing I had noticed is, okay, maybe not noticed, but one thing that got me thinking is, how often do PKers fight each other, let's say at Callisto?
I don't think they really do. Because, like, generally, they'll be scouting worlds, and if they see a team there, they go, oh, there's a team there, alright, well, you know what I mean? Like, fuck that.
Yeah. But on top of that, like, I don't often see, this might just be at Callisto, I'm sure there are spots where this does happen, but I don't often see a group or even a solo PKer just sitting there waiting. half the time they're world hopping nonstop to find somebody who's currently at the boss.
Yep.
And I'm sure there are groups that do just hang out around areas that are waiting for other PKers to pop in. But it just seems like a good chance for PKers to fight each other. It has to be on the off chance that two people world hop into the same world as each other.
Yeah, well, like, it would be, there's a group killing Callisto, let's log in, and as they're killing him, another group comes in. They go, fuck, let's kill these guys now, I guess. Like, that's how it goes.
Yeah?
100%. Because,
And,
yeah, sorry, go.
Just had me thinking that, like, if these rev caves come, I'm sure it will be, like, how they're hoping for the first month or so, but it just seems like it might just turn into how Callisto is, where it's not going to become this ecosystem of all these group battles going on, and it might just turn into, like, people world hopping nonstop.
Yeah. Well, the whole Jagex theory, like, just doesn't work. The whole, like, you know, there's, like, the Care Bear doing their task, they get killed, and then, like, the shitty PKers that have to kill the Care Bears get killed by the better PK. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, if you're... Okay, out of, like, the 50-plus times I've been attacked at Callisto, I have never seen a team go, we're friendly, we're looking for other PKers. It's, oh, that guy's in full Verax, and he might have a good drop with them, let's fucking kill him.
I don't even think it's just that. I think part of it as well is, like, they're like, oh my god, I finally see someone. Let's just kill them for the fun of it. Because, like, even though you're not getting any drops, it is kind of fun just to kill people.
Of course, but you can find people, like, easily. I bump into people, like, if I go in the wilderness and I do Callisto, like, I'll find people doing Callisto pretty often. Every time I'm going to KBD, I find people running to KBD with me. Like, I'll be doing random shit in the wilderness, and I always bump into people. And it's like, it's not that I'm just really lucky. It's that I'm not there with 30 or, not 30. I won't over exaggerate. I'm not there with 5 people all skulled up. You know what I mean? Like, the chances are if you're running around skulled up with a group, it's someone sees you before you see them and they just log. Cause it's the wilderness and I don't want to fight 5 other people. Given the right circumstances, I'll fight you back. Of course, if it's one dude jumping on me, I'll fight you back. But if there's 5 people, like, and I know where Malty is and how close I am to Malty or whatever, it's like, no, I'm gonna take the route, follow singles combat, and just leave, because if I kill you, I have to kill your 4 other friends. I don't have enough spec for that. I'm not that good. Sure. I'm not good at PKing. If I kill you, that's me being lucky. Not,
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the big issue with, like, Jagex, I was trying to think of, like, an analogy, and this is, like, I don't know, this might be bad, but, like, it would be like if Jagex was like, you know what, we're gonna plant all these, like, clovers, or I don't know, these nice vegetables and plants in our farm, and then rabbits will come and eat them, and then, like, coyotes will come and eat the rabbits, and then whatever the fuck eats coyotes. I don't think anything does, but, then
humans?
Then the humans will come and eat that. I don't think humans eat coyote, but... something, some rabid bear. I don't fucking know. Maybe a pack of wolves or something, right? And the pack of wolves kills a coyote. And, like, look, then it's a good ecosystem where, like, the rabbits, if they're quick and they're smart, they eat and then they get to reproduce. And then if they're dumb, they die. And the coyotes, they can sneak in and pick one off at a time that they need. And when the wolves want to go fuck some shit up, they'll go there and clear it. But then it just turns into, like, the rabbits are like, hey, every time 5 of us go here, 4 of us die. We can just go across the street where there's no coyotes and wolves. Like, let's just go do that. There's not as much food, but we're not gonna fucking die. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's just, and then, like, you know what I mean? Then it's like, then the fucking coyotes and wolves bitch saying that, like, rabbits are pussies and they keep voting no on our polls. What the hell? Kind of broke the metaphor at the end there, but you know what I mean? Like, that's, like, the big issue is that like, it's not like we're robots. Is that, like, it's when you're spamming, like, drink bleach, get cancer, faggot.
Whoa, you lagged out for a minute, and I just come back and all I hear is bleach and cancer, faggot. I'm like, oh, whoa, Jesus, that took a turn.
No, but, like,
it's a bad time to cut out this fucking lag.
I don't mind dying. I don't care if someone tells me to drink bleach and snort glass and all that cringy, like, 14-year-old edgelord stuff. you know what I mean? It's not like it's not like I really want to do Callisto. It's not like I yearn to kill Venenatus or go do Black Chinchompas, which I can't even with the Hunter level, but there's nothing that like makes me really want to go do it because I know like I could get a treasonous ring. Yeah, that's nice. But I know like, I could get that if I'm lucky, but I'm going to get attacked at least 5 times in like the hour minimum. And then it's like, I don't, like, it's so much like a headache. I mean, I don't mind. I get it. I'm in the wilderness. If I'm in the wilderness, I deserve to be attacked, of course. Like, because I don't want to get attacked when I'm half on food and like a clan logs in. True story. Clan logs in as I kill Callisto. They see a bird's nest drop, which is 500k, and then they fucking pile me. They spam get cancer faggot, free 500k lol. And I'm like, okay, congratulations. Like, they can see my drop. That's a little stupid, but I mean, bad timing, you know, as I get a kill and it like finally it's like, oh, this is going to actually pay off for me. And I just get bent over like a wooden table. Yeah. It's like I'm at recess and like I'm talking to my friend and then he pushes me over and I find out my other friend was like behind me crouched down and I get tabled. And then you start realizing when your friend starts smirking as you're talking to him, you start like looking behind you to find someone trying to like, which is the weirdest thing.
Some old memories are creeping up.
I can't believe that was a thing. Imagine that in the workplace. You're in like an office job and you're like, oh, hey Jim. Yeah. What about the report? And then like he starts smiling and he just fucking pushes you over in the lunchroom. And you just get tabled. And I'm kind of going off.
I'm trying to think if anything ever like that happens on.
But
yeah, no, fair enough.
But you know what I mean.
The wilderness will bring that out of you.
It's weird. I mean, I don't know. Like the wilderness it's fun. I mean, I like it. I don't mind getting attacked, but I do mind that like why they're doing it just clearly would never work. You know what I mean? That's kind of the whole point I'm making. It's like, yeah, I mean, there are PKers that only go for PKers. Look at Monty and stuff, right? There's like some big YouTube streamers or YouTubers and Twitch streamers that like, this is me killing PKers at like green dragons all the time or black chins or whatever. But,
it's not like if a PKer is at Callisto and then another PKer logs in and they're like, all right, I see a white dot. Oh shit, he's not in Verox. Log out, log out, log out. I'm sure the 2 PKers will fight each other.
Oh my god, he's skulled.
It just seemed like for certain... It just seems like for that situation to actually happen, it has to be pretty rare. And I know I'm picking specific like areas in the wilderness. You know, if you're hopping around on obelisks, or you're sitting at greater demons, that is a pretty good chance you'll find some PKers.
Yep.
There are certain spots you'll go that you'll see them, but it's just things like when I was doing a lot of Callisto and I saw that happen. You know, I was getting PK'd a lot. And the first few times it was kind of fun. I'm like, oh shit, get out of here, make the mad sprint, and oh, I got away. That's awesome. Yeah. But it happened a lot with teams and all this stuff, and I've died a bunch, and I don't really care when I die. It's just kind of a waste of time if anything.
You don't lose. You lose a glory. Big whoop, you know.
I bring a power amulet, so I don't even lose that.
Yeah, okay. Well, what do you use for one-click telly? Dueling ring or something?
Oh, no, I don't got one clicks, but...
Yeah, like, what jewelry do you use?
I got 75 crafting. I finally got 75 crafting. I also did this week, which cost me like fucking 4 mil, by the way, from 70 to 75. But anyways, and now I can make those Slayer rings, and you can teleport at 30 wilderness with those. Or before that, I was using the pods you get from Monkey Madness 2 that teleports you to the
You can use that at 30?
Tree. Yeah, you can use it at 30.
Oh,
now the only problem I had with that is when I would die, I'd have to run all the way back to the Grand Tree area, or I'd teleport there and then run. And then it would just add like 30 seconds onto my trip.
Yeah.
Which starts getting annoying when you're dying like 20 times, but I might be I might be a little bit of an optimistic, but every time somebody would pop, especially more than one, I was kind of hoping they'd just be like, yo, we're not going to hurt you. We're going to use you as bait for PKers. You just stand there. You just wait.
But it's more like 4 dudes on TeamSpeak going, I see him casting Ice Barrage. Oh, 200 experience drop, but pile in, boys. Let's get him. All right, get your hashtags ready. What's your clan name again? Like, that's most likely what's happening. Yeah, I'm not too fond of those guys, clearly. But, I don't know, like, I mean, they could implement better systems to like get people to want to PK instead of like, because like the community is like obviously really divided. If you look at the subreddit, holy shit, where it's like PvPers shitting on PvMers and vice versa. Where it's like, you see the divide and like what each side thinks of each other, which is gay because we're all playing a game that's like super old. So like, and you're arguing like,
yeah,
I like
we're all
PKing,
scapers at
I
heart.
like PVMing.
We all gotta get along.
Yeah, it's like, and like, you know what? I didn't vote no just to spite you guys. I mean, I'm getting 94 magic to start PKing and stuff. Like, I do see the enjoyment and the fun of like piling noobs that are doing Callisto and stuff. But it's like, it's, you know, it's not, it's like an abusive relationship where the PVMers like, you know what, I'm done. I'm getting out of this. Like, it's super like, and then they go, well, why are you going? Nah, what are you, pussy? Like, I don't fucking know. That's like what it comes off as. But like
here's the thing.
The majority,
the amount of times that, sorry.
I was going to say the majority of the community like clearly doesn't like PKing. Like they favor PVM. They like Slayer and bossing and skilling. But like, instead of like getting a carrot on a stick that just leads you over a ditch and now you're dead, they should like make you want to learn, like, man, it would be kind of fun to like learn how to PK and get into it. You know what I mean? So like more people are willing to like skull up and fight each other. Like that's how you actually revive it. You got to give incentive to like to PK, to like actually get into it instead of, you know, killing people that don't PK. I don't know. Anyways, what were you saying?
No, I was just going to say, like, yeah, that's the thing. PKing is such a fun part of RuneScape. It is probably one of my most favorite things of RuneScape.
Yep.
It has one of the coolest PvP systems that I've ever played in any single game. It's very simplistic, which I think is the charm to it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, the amount of times I did get PK'd, I didn't really get, told to drink bleach at all, really. So that's I guess that's a positive.
It's a very small minority. Like, it's not like every, like, if that happens to you, consider yourself, well, lucky with air quotes. Like, it's not like everyone does that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, not every PvPer or PKer is that toxic. And just like how there's tons of PVMers who are toxic as well. The amount of times you'll be like fucking hop retard or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just because you take their abyssal demon spot, and you're like, dude, there's 4 of them here. Like,
or they come into when you're doing it and they just start like darting your necreals. And you're like, oh my god. God damn it.
Like, I don't really pay attention to too much politics, but it's like when you hear about politics and they're always talking about SJWs versus
alt-right
Nazis. Yeah.
Yeah. Something inside me goes, I don't think America's just made of SJWs and Nazis. I'm pretty sure that's not how that country is going right now.
Yeah, it's the thing. You like look on Reddit or you'll listen to some other podcasts or watch some videos, and it just seems you're just like, wow. So that's 2017 for you. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, you know what? I've never met anyone remotely close to either one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move off from that tangent. I didn't necessarily mean to get into that. I don't know what the point of that was. But anyways, let's move on.
It was a segue to the news, because the news once again is
the perfect segue.
The perfect segue, because it is once again a news. Some of the news is based around the Revenant Caves for like fucking 4th time in a row. I'm sorry, guys.
I fucking love this topic. This is the golden age of podcasting, I tell you, of RuneScape podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
So right off the bat, we should mention everything failed in the polls last week.
Nothing passed. Yeah, we'll start off with
except for the one PVM update. Oh god.
Yeah, so nothing passed. Yeah, that's kind of why there's been a fiesta on the Reddit. But yeah, so we'll start off with for the protecting game integrity little update they did.
Are they removing the wilderness?
Yeah, so they're gonna remove the wilderness and free trade. Just because clearly that's what PVMers want. No,
it worked last time.
Yeah. I don't think they'll be pulling like that stuff again for a while. But anyways, yeah, so we'll start off with talking about bot prevention methods, because that was heavily discussed this past month. They ban like thousands of bots in Old School, and I read somewhere, well, obviously, like every day they ban so many, and like, so the reason why the tutorial is the way that it is, and there's no skippy, like the dude you see in Deadman mode to like skip through the tutorial, is that it's something like 34,000 bots a day or something get banned before they leave Tutorial Island.
Oh, wow.
I was reading like a mod talk about that, and it's like, holy, like, dude, I was talking to my buddies about that, who like, they don't play RuneScape, they play like MMOs and stuff, and they go like, wait, what? 34,000 a day? Jesus, like WoW and stuff. They don't give a shit about botting. They're like twice a year they do bot ban waves. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they're just happy some people are paying for their game still.
Yeah. So yeah, they ban like a crap ton a day, and obviously some still go through. It's not foolproof. And like they're been constantly updating like the way they detect bots and all that good stuff. And they want to find out ways to like make it more difficult for the bots that do get through. And not even that, like you have to keep in mind, like a lot of people that bot are just like someone that just really hates like I don't know woodcutting, and they'll just bot on their account for a couple hours. Like a lot of people do that, and so it's kind of hard to ban those people. But the big thing they're worried about, I think, is more likely like gold farmers and stuff. So you'll see like specific things, such as like they're gonna change the way bot traps are. So right now, like hunting chinchompas, and if you've ever done red chinchompas, you'll know it's plagued with bots. And you can hunt them just as long as you get the hunting level. So they're gonna add the completion of Eagle's Peak as a requirement to use the box traps, or they would like to, and the requirement would be added, like they'd like to make changes to the quest so skillers could do it. So right now, like the quest stands, like at some point you have to kill a level 14 Kebbit to get a feather. And they want to make it so that you have, like, the Kebbit would flee and you just pick up the feather.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the skillers don't get hurt, but the bots have to, the guys have to make a script to do this quest, and it'll be a lot more obvious, you know. Like, it's a little step, but it really does add a lot to their bot detection methods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're saying like 34,000 are getting banned on Tutorial Island, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Before? Then like a lot of people will say like, oh, well, this change is so small and stuff, but it's just these little steps. They help you pick up on on bots. You know what I mean?
There'll never be a day where like they go, oh yeah, we just hold on and nice, all the bots are permanently gone out of the game. Like, it doesn't really work like that. Yeah. They kind of just have to make it really annoying to the point where, like, less people are doing it, or they're doing it on less accounts. Like, they kind of, it's slowly just, like, stunting and, trying to prevent all that stuff going on.
Yeah. But the box trap seems like it's, you know, I don't see too much of a problem with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the next one they have, which is kind of with the same theme, is the anti-dragon and the dragon fire shields. So they want to add, so starting the Dragon Slayer quest as a requirement to equip the anti-dragon shield and the DFS. This has been polled before and it failed.
Yeah.
The intention of this would be to make botting dragons more difficult. And since they would only want it to be like partially required. So skillers and pures could easily get 32 skill points they need to use them.
Yeah, fair enough. I remember when I saw this, that's what I instantly thought was like, but then how am I going to get a shield on my free-to-play pure? I don't want to do any quests on my free-to-play pure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you're free-to-play pure, why are you using anti-dragon fire shield? You know what I mean?
Protect you from those fire blasts?
Sure. All right. Checkmate.
If I'm not mistaken, though, it gives you... Let me pull her up right now. I believe it gives you bonus in magic defense. Looking it up, yeah, it gives you a +2 in magic defense, so...
Yeah, but, I mean, if you're free-to-play PKing, you're probably going to be using an Iron Kite anyhow. I mean, you'll see, like, free-to-play mage pures, but they won't be that like, once you hit like level 30 and 40, you know, they're less and less. I don't know. The way the polls went, it really made me want to believe that bots affected the polling. You know what I mean? Cause like, it was something that like really should have went through, and I think they recognized that. So like now I think they're just gonna try and push it in.
Fuck it.
Yeah, like these are gonna, like, any changes here, like they're gonna be implementing without a poll. So suck it up.
Get your pitchforks out.
Yeah, suck it up, princess. It's not that big of a deal. Anyways, I say that
slippery slope. We let them pass this. Next thing you know, they're just going to start bringing in free trade and bringing in the revenants and all the items they want.
I mean, keep this in mind. I am biased because I have the quest cape, so all this does is just nothing for me. It doesn't really affect me at all. So this is why I'm saying it's good. But yeah. Anyways,
until you make a new pure and you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to do any more quests.
Yeah. I mean, well, the next pure I'll make is a Zerker, so welcome. But anyways, yeah, so they have a couple more. The next one is the Lundale? The arena side rune shop, the mage arena where you can buy the runes. Yeah, I didn't even know that shop had a name. I didn't know this, but apparently bots go there to buy cheap runes.
Yeah.
That makes sense though. And so they want to add the completion of the Mage Arena mini quest, or they're considering, but yeah, they want to add the Mage Arena mini quest as a requirement to buy from the shop. So you need 60 magic and more exposure to the wilderness, so it might be an impact on builds aiming to stay below 60 wilderness, 60 magic, but honestly, like, it affects Iron Man a bit.
Yeah, okay, so I saw this little discussion happen. Because this shop here, and I'm sure there might be a few, which we might mention coming up right next, but not every shop sells things like cosmic runes and death runes, maybe?
Well, a lot of them do, but yeah.
Some of the higher level
law runes, nature runes.
Yeah, and you can buy these from this shop there, mm-hmm. So that's why it was saying like, oh, you know, we're gonna, what is it? You know, doing this change is gonna be big for Iron Man because now they can't get teleport runes and shit like that, but it made me think, like, why not just increase the price to about the GE value? This way, like, bots aren't going to make any money off of it.
It would probably just inflate the prices of those runes. Because, like, if you go to free-to-play, there's a bot in almost every single world buying death runes at the Varrock and the Port Sarim magic shops. And, like, I would like to see the numbers of how many of those are bought from, like, NPCs and sold to the GE. It's probably, like, way more than we actually expect. And I think the main issue why they don't want to do this is because it's actually a really, like, I made most of my money in my free-to-play pure by doing this. Like, you make, like, you actually make stupid money, or you did at least when I was doing it, buying death runes and just hopping. Make, like, a couple 100K an hour. It's, like, the best way to make money in free-to-play for a bond. And also, it would affect Iron Man too. It'd kind of dick them over pretty hard because money's tight for them.
Yeah.
So I do like how, like, 60 magic isn't that big of a deal. And, like, most pures could get 60 magic without it kind of screwing them over. You could splash it or something. But then again, like, the people that it's really going to affect would be Iron Man.
Yeah.
But
how are you going to train your magic up if you can't buy the runes?
I mean, okay, there's a couple quests you can do, like, you can get, like, 13 or 11 magic levels, like, easily and free to play, but most Iron Men just like, you do it from the quests. It's probably Imp Catcher and Witch's Potion, but most Iron Men start off by doing, like, Winter Todd and stuff, and that gets you, like, a bunch of money, so you could just buy, like, you could splash to 60 magic, no problem. Not that expensive.
Yeah.
If you're going for, like, it's macro-wise, it's, like, pretty efficient to go for 99 fire making right off the bat. This is an Iron Man.
Yeah, but that's fucked for a first goal.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing for the long game, right? If you're not just playing to hit, like, level 40 and quit. I don't know. I don't really think I mean, if it would affect you specifically, I mean, I'd be down to hear why it would.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're like a skiller that likes to flip runes for some reason. I don't know. Like I don't know. But, yeah, anyways. So they're also gonna have another change to the Magic Guild store, the rune shop. So like the Mages Guild is in Yanil, and, it's really, really accessible. And so they want to add the Hand in the Sand as a requirement for purchasing runes in the shop. And Hand in the Sand is directly, like, it's a pretty cool quest, but it is directly related. You have to go and talk to people within the Magic, Guild. So it does make sense to, like, add that as a requirement, like, the way the game works, flow-wise, I guess. The quest has really low requirements, and the rewards will not negatively impact the progress of any specific account builds. The only thing I can think of is, like, that quest just lets you get daily sand buckets.
Oh, that's the one. Okay. Makes sense.
So, you know, pretty cool. I like that. Like, you know, these aren't really going to be super invasive. They're just enough to kind of make somebody have to, you know, develop some scripts to do it, and then they can catch it pretty easily. Especially, you know, the first iteration of the scripts, right? But anyways.
Yeah, that's the idea, at least.
Yeah. So Zaf staffs. So the stocked battle staves, not the ones that you get through the diaries, but the ones you can buy from him. There's no requirements, and they're heavily botted and stuff. I've never seen one in stock. They're always at 0.
I've seen like one, and I'm like, oh shit, buy it. Be the one to buy it. Come on.
Yeah, they're pretty much always empty though. Yeah, they've seen a lot of suggestions and all that stuff. They talk about how players have suggested removing the stocked battle staves entirely and make it only a diary reward. And others suggest locking access to them behind the completion of What Lies Below quest. I don't really remember what that quest does, but...
Me neither.
Honestly, I don't think... The only people that actually buy those are bots. Or people that go, holy fuck, there's actually one in here, I'll buy one. Easy 1K.
Yeah, that's me.
I would be okay with them taking it out. I'm okay with anything they really do to make it locked behind, but I do think the easiest solution is to just take out the battle staves, because, like, really, 99.99% of them are bought by botters.
Yep.
But yeah,
bought by the bots.
Yeah, they're still welcome to all feedback and suggestions, so they don't really have a good idea of what to do, but, you know, they're trying to get one from you guys for free.
Yeah. No credit.
Scam flex. But,
nice.
The Stealing Wine of Zamorak. The monks of Zamorak currently only attack players if they attempt to pick up the wine.
Right.
And they could make it so if you telegrab it, the monks could attack you. Okay. And they could also buff the monks to have their stats, buff their stats to make them more dangerous. And it would only work at the wine spawn of the Asgarian Temple, the one in free-to-play that people do to make money, and the bots do as well. Not the one in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
See, I want to say yes to that, only because I'd love to go into free-to-play world day one and, like, watch people go and telegrab it that don't keep up with the updates and just fucking get one shot.
Yeah? See some bots drop?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. That's super weird. Like, why? Why would they just auto attack you? Like, no matter what, if you telegrab it.
'Cause, dude, they're monks of Zamorak, you know, the god of chaos. They're all chaotic.
I guess, but,
you know, woo.
I mean, regardless, they would have to make them strong enough that, like, you can't just protect melee or something and just pick them up now.
But then the boss would need to get 43 prayer.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Checkmate. Yeah, so the Mage Training Arena, the Enchanting Chamber, which, everyone knows how badly that place is botted, so...
I actually didn't know that. I did this way back, and
really?
I don't remember bots, but I did this, like, 2-3 years ago, maybe? No, 2 years ago. And
I popped in, and... I was just, like, competing against bots a while ago, and I just, like, gave up instantly. I was like, this is just annoying. I have to be, like, I can't like do something else while I do this because the bots are like instantaneous. You know what I mean? Like I have to be quicker than them, and that's really annoying. So yeah, the mage training arena can be like a source of frustration if you ever have to compete with a bot. You'll hear a lot of people complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they want to add a magic requirement of 68 to pick up the dragon stones in the enchanting chamber, which is the most valuable to get. It's like the one you want.
Yeah, if you read any guides, they'll say world hop and just do the dragon stones.
Yeah. So this requirement wouldn't prevent players with a lower level from accessing the chamber. They just wouldn't be able to pick up the dragon stones. So it wouldn't prevent you from doing it, but it would make it so you need a higher magic level. They chose 68 because that's what you need to enchant the dragonstone jewelry.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I got a funny story about bots.
Go for it.
So this weekend I was playing a little bit, and I'd wake up, or whatever. I'd play kind of early on in the day, jump on for a little bit, and I would see a real-life friend of mine who was playing his account, and his account was a really low level, like maybe just done Waterfall Quest. And I noticed he was actually in the clan chat, and I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? No response. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. And he kind of had his private chat turned off, so I was like, okay, I guess he's whatever, busy. Maybe he deleted me. Maybe I said something. Not really, but yeah, I was like, okay, no problem. And then anyways, I logged off. I went and did some shit for the day, and I came back, 5-6 hours later, let's say, and I got back on the computer, and he's still on the game, still playing. I'm like, oh, wow. But yeah, still no response, and I was like, okay, this is whatever. And then I checked his stats, and he had his stats were 30 attack, 30 strength, 16 fishing, and then 55 smithing. I was like, oh shit, this guy's really going harder on the smithing for some reason. It doesn't really make much sense, but hey, maybe he found something that he really enjoyed in RuneScape, and that just so happened to be was smithing. Not mining, just...
Yeah, it's his calling, dude.
Just smithing, so where the fuck are you getting the ores from, dude? Buying some bonds?
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm like, okay. And then I get off, and I wake up in the morning, and then he's on again, first thing in the morning. And I think it was on Sunday, and I had to drive my girlfriend to work for 7 a.m. And lately I've really enjoyed, instead of staying up late and playing RuneScape in the wee hours of the morning, I kind of enjoy it more to wake up early. If I have to drive my girlfriend to work at 7, I don't know. It's really enjoyable to be kind of just playing RuneScape for the first couple hours of the day before the days kind of got started. It's too early to actually go out and do shit, do any of your errands and stuff. So I would just spend a couple hours in the morning playing, and then I'd log off, come back later on in the day, he's still on, log off, come back at nighttime, and he's still fucking on. I'm like, holy shit, and he's got 66 smithing now. That evening, he sends me a text message. He's like, hey, dude, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. How's it going? What's new? And I'm like, not too much, man. I'm like, have you been playing RuneScape lately? Your account's been logged on all weekend. You're really going hard, but, you're not really responding. And he's like, no, I haven't played it in months. And I was like, oh, well, I think somebody's on your account. So he goes on, changes his password, recovers it somehow, and yeah, jumps on, and he has 3.5 mil worth of cannonballs on his account.
What the fuck?
He has 13 or 15k cannonballs and then 1k plus of steel bars. And he just messaged me. He's like, dude, what the fuck was going on my account? And I was like, you're probably being botted on, man. Shit. What the fuck? And he's like, that's bizarre. He's like, I've never had any of my accounts hijacked before. And he just had no, he was baffled, and I was kind of baffled. I'm like, how does that even happen? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of bizarre to see, especially since the botter didn't leave the clan chat. So, I knew he was on, and that's what got me to check him up on the high scores, and I was like, the fuck's going on here? Yeah, so that's a interesting story. I think he went and got an authenticator or something like that, but I wonder if he's going to get banned in a couple weeks.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, I wonder how that works. But yeah, did you watch the RuneScape documentary?
When it came out, yeah.
Yeah, it came out last April, I think, and it's called the 15 years of RuneScape or something. But There's a section in that. It's really good, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's actually really well done. It's a lot. Part of it is about RuneScape 3, but I watched it a while ago, and I'm like, man, this was really fucking good. I was surprised how much I liked it. Yeah, they go into it around the 2000s. They go into about the 2007 era when they brought in the free trade and took out they took out free trade and took out the wilderness. And they talk about kind of why their decision had to be made for that. It was basically because of how many bots were on in the game and how many stolen credit cards were being used to pay for the bots and stuff like that. And then the people would, get their credit cards back. They'd do a charge back to Jagex to, you know what I mean? They're like, what the fuck's all these charges to this Jagex game? I never even played it before. Charge them back. And then apparently they were getting hit hard with their the chargebacks, and they were suffering a lot of money, which is part of the reason why they had to do that drastic change. Which I remember them saying that and stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, okay, that's bullshit. But then watching that documentary, you're just like, wow, it sounds like they were about to go bankrupt if they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of interesting. And I don't know if RuneScape 3 has a problem with bots. I don't know. I never really hear about it. I don't see them when I played it. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, me neither. But yeah, okay. So there's your little botting crisis.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll move on. Yeah, RuneScape's got a nice pass with botting, I guess.
Yeah, it's iconic, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, for real. But yeah, so yeah, there's a couple more. Or I guess there's one more little change they talk about, but yeah, it is real world trading through the duel arena, which is the most popular method of real world trading.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Because, it makes sense. How are you going to track a failed duel, right? It's kind of hard to know, but yeah. So they say that the duel arena is iconic, and, it has its problems though, and it fuels just how real world traders are. And how they act, and the stakes based on odds to acquire huge sums of in-game gold. So, and they sell it online. So I'm assuming what they do is put up 400 mil, and then to sell to the company or whatever, and the company would put up 100K, and then they would do the duel. But if they would just make sure they won, kind of.
Yeah, and
Does
I also
that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I don't know if I'm reading this wrong as well, but I also think they're talking about how most of the real world trading is done with the money made from dueling. So for instance, it's not, somebody who's farming bandos for, whatever, or doing Zara,
Yeah.
they're not really going to use that gold they make there to sell it online for real life money. It's the stakers who win they have 30 bill that they win from staking, where they're doing 2 bill stakes at a time. They're the ones that are going to turn around and sell that because you can make so much money off shit like that.
Yeah.
Hell, we saw a fiasco a few months ago. Not a few months ago, but a while ago it seems like, where somebody had won a third age longsword or something that was worth 1.2 bill or something like that. And then a couple days later, his account gets banned, and then they made a kind of an uproar on the subreddit, and a bunch of people rallied behind him, hey, why did you ban this guy? And then Jagex came back and said, yeah, he real world traded it for $1,000.
Yeah, exactly. It's good old duel arena.
Well, there wasn't duel
Anyways.
arena. That was luck from Clue Scroll, but
Yeah. But real world trading, but yeah, most of the money does come through the duel arena, or sold GP. That makes sense. Yeah, so they don't want to remove the duel arena, but they want to make some changes. So they have 2 options, or as of right now, only 2 options. They want to have an option to adjust your stats like the tournament world. So this would mean that the odds, the stakers, would lose their advantage. So what people would do, and it's super scummy, but they purposely don't max their account. They would get 97 strength or something, which doesn't really make that much of a difference between 99. and then they would do X. So it'd be like 1 mil for like 1.3 mil or something. And with like a system like that, no matter what, you'll come out on top if you just have enough money and you keep, because if it's 50-50, they're putting in more money. In like the minor stats don't really make that much of they don't make a difference, especially if you're just using a tentacle.
Right. Okay.
But yeah. So they want to have it so you can adjust stats, so you can't do Xing, and they want to add a trade weighting limit. So you'd have to be within a limit, like 1 mil for 1 mil type of a thing.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
So it would be like the old trade limit, the way they used to have it, but it would just be in the dueling arena.
Yeah, okay.
And
I mean, that seems fair. Maybe there are some isolated incidences where that's going to be a pain in the ass, but I can't really think of any besides
the
gaming.
the only thing I can think of is I just lost all my money. I'm going to go sell off my full bandos. But like normally you would just put up your pieces, like your armor and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're cleaning someone out, when they start staking melee gear and stuff.
Yeah.
But all that would do now is like make you have to specifically type in the price, or they'd have to go and sell it and come back.
Okay.
So like it doesn't really do much. It does take out the thing we talked about last episode with the Maple Shortbow scam.
Yeah. And
it does kind of change that a bit.
And going back to the other change they're doing where you can kind of tamper with your own stats just for that duel.
Yep.
You could be a max account even though your original account's level 3. A problem that I've heard of, and I can't say I've seen it, but a friend of ours who did a lot of staking, he had told me about this scam where he was staking this one guy nonstop, about the same level, and it's kind of back and forth, and they decided to do one last big stake where it's like, let's say they're doing 1 mil stakes before, and they're like, okay, let's do a 25 mil, and then let's call it quits from there. So he does the 25 mil, but he didn't notice he was facing someone. It was another account of the dudes that was, the name was so similar, but one thing was off.
Oh shit.
So he's facing, like, let's say a guy with like a level 70 account, and then he's level 70, and then they're going back and forth, and his name is Dills. And then another account does it, and this is another Dills, but with, instead of an L, it's a capital I. That account's a maxed account. So then you get into the duel and you're like, oh fuck, this guy's a 126. I just got fucking scammed. I got fucking tricked.
Yeah.
So that's what the tampering with your stats would prevent as well.
Yeah. You could also set like one magic, one range, so people can't like blood barrage you.
Yeah, fair enough. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, cool little ideas. I do like the idea of the odds. Like you have to have like the similar amount of money.
Yeah, that seems fair. Why not?
Yeah. And why not? Yeah, so these are some of the community issues that they've kind of talked about, and the first one's with disconnections. So everyone's, talking about the frustration of the connectivity and the servers and all that stuff. Yeah, they're saying they're like working hard to tackle the problem. They're talking to their like internet providers, and they've been improving their network. And they're pretty happy with the connectivity. And they want to, or they need to establish a better way to capture data when you run into problems. So if you continue to experience connectivity issues, they have like a survey that you can fill in.
That's their better way of capturing data.
Yeah.
Survey monkey.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, they just want to know what exactly is going on. Who knows, maybe it's the spaghetti code that makes you disconnect some specific thing.
So it's maybe not these Airbnb Wi-Fis that's giving me so much problem. Maybe it's the Jagex.
Maybe it's Jagex's fault the whole time.
I had a feeling.
They're going to be working on streamlining the process of reporting disconnections, with a view to allow you to report disconnections whilst in game, but they don't know when they're going to add that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's an idea. And then the next one is DDoS protection.
It's a new prayer stat they're going to add.
Yeah.
Protect from DDoS.
You pretty much just sink money in, though. It's literally you just talk to a guy and give him money.
Okay.
It's a gold sink. Yeah, so with Jagex Premium, you will now have individual DDoS protection. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. For an extra cost of $20 a month, and you get a free spin.
You'll be upgraded to the silver package. So they explain what DDoSing is, and it's just overflowing someone's IP address with packets and all this requests, whatever. It's just clogging up the line. It'd be like you're going down a highway and some dick comes on the highway with like a horse and chariot, and 4 of his buddies take up every lane and they just kind of trot, and now traffic is jammed behind them.
Okay,
kind of the best, you know, thing I can give. Yeah, so generally, you know, you're living at home, someone loads up Ion Cannon or whatever the hell that program's called, and they have your IP, you're screwed. Or they buy shells in other countries, and whatever.
You giving a guide on how to DDoS? I haven't heard any of those terms that you just mentioned.
Really?
Ion Cannon?
Allegedly, and when I was in grade 6, allegedly I was on 4chan and people were DDoSing the Australian government website, and I allegedly joined them for like 3 hours.
Why?
Well, it's, you know, allegedly. We don't know if it actually happened or not. But, you know, you feel, you know, you're 6th grade, you're on 4chan, you're kind of feeling like pretty edgy and badass, right? So why not commit some really bad crimes? And, you know, the only time I allegedly did it, obviously I'm a little kid, and I was like, oh wait, this is really illegal, and I deleted it and was worried that the FBI was going to come to my place, even though I'm in Canada, but yeah. It's really easy, though, to do it. It's not like, if you're getting DDoS, it's not like some epic hacker, some 4chan hacker, like, anonymous is like, tapping into which mainframe, uploading viruses. It's like they just have your IP and they just have a program and they just type it in and click a button. Like, it's stupid. So yeah, they're kind of just saying it's really easy to do. Well, they don't really say it's really easy to do, but it is. And,
we're gonna make a video on it later, a how-to guide.
A how-to, just so you can not do it. No, but, it only works though if you have the person's IP.
Okay.
So if they don't have your IP, then they can't DDoS you. There's, you know, and the people that are doing it, like I said, they're not fucking geniuses. They're stupid kids in college or something, or they're probably some corporate shill that like comes home from the worst like 9 to 5 and is like, time to DDoS some kids and get them mad. This is how I relieve my stress from my boss yelling at me all day. I'm gonna go DDoS PKers in the wilderness and get like 400k a kill.
Fuck.
In dead man mode, so, you know, I win that dead man seasonal, I can start streaming and quit my job. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so they're just kind of saying, if you're in the dead man mode, I know some of us, not us, but some people in the chat, in the Discord and in the CC are like pretty big into dead man mode and, you know, hit that 2k total level, or 2k, top 2k total level. So, you know, if you're out there, just, you know, make sure you're protecting your IP. Don't use TeamSpeak. God damn it. Yeah. They're stupid if you use fucking TeamSpeak. Use a VPN at least. Go buy a VPN for like $10 a month. That'll save you a lot of hassle. Do whatever you can to protect your IP.
You can also change it too if you accidentally like leak it. I believe you can call us your internet service provider and ask them to change it or something.
Yeah.
Although I heard it might take a day or two.
Yeah, just be a little early on that. Delete all your porn, all your naked booby JPEGs.
Why? Why would you do that?
Naked bobs and girls. I don't know. Just, you know, don't be an idiot and you won't get goofed on. Yeah, they say if someone does have your IP, contact your ISP. You know, they'll be able to do it for you.
Right. Yeah.
You can attempt to force an IP change by unplugging every PC router, modem, or other network hardware for a day, and then you can
for a
hopefully
day
that'll work.
No internet for full 24 hours? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, it is. You can do it in a shorter amount of time, but 24 hours is like a safe. You know when they say like unplug your modem for 10 seconds? Sometimes you can just literally unplug and replug, but sometimes you have to keep it unplugged for longer.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
If you're having internet problems in general, it's just something like that. Just, be safe.
Man, I haven't did that in so long. I'm so I'm so lucky.
I'd do that today, actually.
Wow.
I was pissed.
Stone
I was
Age.
Pissed. Playing some battle right. Disconnected mid-game. Pissed. Good thing I wasn't bursting, though. Or else this podcast would be in a completely negative... Fuck you, Jagex. Anyways.
And we're doing the Deegan giveaway at the end of the show.
Yeah, I'm quitting. I'm done. No, if you get DDoS and you disconnect any of that bamboozling, you get screwed over. Jagex just says it's your fault. They're not responsible for you. Yeah, so don't be an idiot. If it does happen though, send an email to tipoff@jagex.com, tipoff@jagex.com, jagex.com.
Okay.
At is shift 2, by the way. But, never mind.
That's a real email though. The way you said it sounds so like you're fooling, and that's legit. Yeah, call their Crime Stoppers hotline.
tipoff@jagex.com. Give them your RuneScape name, the world that you disconnected from, the time and date, video evidence, any information, and your password and bank pin.
Yeah.
No, okay.
You want to send everything but the email?
Yeah. At the Wilderness Podcast? No. So, yeah, just give them all the info you can. You can always record your dead man mode stuff and show that you're on TeamSpeak and your IP is right there on your screen.
Yeah.
I just get annoyed that clans still use TeamSpeak. Anyways, that is it for protecting game integrity.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of went on for a little while, but bots, DDoSing, and Duel Arena, some hot stuff right there.
It is. Welcome to the Wilderness Podcast 2.0, where our show's going for like 3 hours now, apparently.
Yeah. Where I make jokes like inappropriate times. Try and confuse
totally
the
derails the whole
listeners.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we're talking about mobile games. I don't know. Want to move on?
Yeah. Let's just go on because we have a bunch to go through. Dragon Slayer 2 dev update, design competition and changes. They decided not to do Dragon Slayer 2.
They scrapped it out of spite from the PvP content.
Yeah, they said if they're gonna bring it back, it'll be wilderness-specific quest. Okay, seriously though,
it's gonna be tied in with some PvP-related questions. So it'll be like, do you want Dragon Slayer 2 and the Torvesta, or not Torvesta, fuck me, or the Torva armor?
Yeah.
You can only click, yeah, like, what?
40% damage upgrade to the Gmaul with, the new rewards. But, yeah, but in all seriousness, it's gonna come out on January the 4th.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty dope.
Yeah, that's coming right up.
Yeah. They're pretty much done it right now. Like they're obviously if it's going to be released January 4th, they're in like the finishing stages. They have a pie chart of total issues and is 126.
Jeez.
So they show you like what they're trying to fix. So now I say they're probably almost done. They're about halfway done. They have like they have 126 issues. 54 of them are open and 17 are in progress, all that stuff. It's kind of cool how they show like the progress of like all the errors and issues they find, and it's a cool way to see actually where they are along in the quest. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. They've already completed the first act, and they've had that done for a couple of weeks, and having a big section of the quest playable at this point is pretty helpful, and they can start doing internal feedback playtests and all that stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, and the various playtests have already resulted in improvements to the content, so that's pretty dope.
Nice. I saw a tweet from Slayer Music saying he's getting flown out to Jagex to
Is he really?
give some input. Yeah, he says, I got a tweet from him from November 18th. I got invited to the sneak peek of Dragon Slayer 2 and Oldschool RuneScape Mobile. I'm super excited. It's a dream come true to visit the company. Smiley face.
Nice. I thought you were kind of memeing for a second, but that's nice that they're actually taking someone who does all the good quest guides and stuff. I say good quest guides. There's other people that do quest guides, but he's the only one that like I actually can use. None of that.
Yeah.
Oh, forgot my axe. Now you're wasting 30 minutes too with me.
These are pretty good. There's a few times, like when I was doing Taio, One-Eye, Bio, Trio, whatever, Majigga, some of it got updated, so I was like following his step by step. And then, like, for instance, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this because the Karambuanji, when he did the video, they didn't stack. And then when I did the quest, they stacked. So there's a bunch of things where it's like, you want to bank all your items. Boom, bank my items. And he's like, now fish 20 of these. And then I'd fish like whatever. And then there's a bunch of times where I just screwed myself because I became too dependent on just following his guide instead of actually doing it myself. So that's my own fault, though.
It's like, I'll take a hit. You know what I mean? It makes it way easier.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a little inconvenience. Yeah, the Taiwan boy trios. I hate that quest.
Hi, and welcome to my guide. That's my
very nice. That was a good impression.
Thank you.
That was pretty good. Your mic quality's a little bit too high, though.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
You need to be speaking into a tube down a hall or something.
Okay, got this. Hello, and welcome to my guide.
Nice.
That even get picked up?
Barely. A little bit.
Okay, perfect.
They're, not just looking for internal feedback, all that stuff. It kind of ties into Slayer Music 1 being brought out. Mm-hmm. And they're going to bring in some of their top content creators as well. So like Bodhi, a friend, Wooks maybe. Maybe Wooks will find a way to like instantly finish the quest.
Next thing, man, I swear to God, if we have to do the boss and it consists of like prayer flicking like a motherfucker, I'm going to be so mad. Like, there's going to be like 13 Jads you got to prayer flick.
And there's files for some reason in the corner. And you're like, okay, there's some bullshit here I'm supposed to be doing.
Shit.
The art, art development doesn't necessarily work in the same content at the same time. So with the boss Vorkath, they just are using a blue dragon for now.
Nice.
But the room
at its finest.
where they're fighting it is like snowy and stuff. So I don't know if that's a placeholder or what, but it does look pretty nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks like an ice rink.
Yeah.
Get some hockey going on in there.
Play some shinny. So they got like a lot of like the bigger pieces of the post quest content out of the way. They have 2 acts in the quest to do, and they're nearly finished on Act 3. And so they're just kind of giving updates on where they are, all that jazz. I don't want to read everything because
it really means nothing to us until it comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of just like they're like, we're actually working on this. I promise. We're not just cut and pasting Dragon Slayer 1 with reskins.
Yep. So, that being said, it is competition time again. Woo. Woo. More competitions. One of the rewards
that kazoo or something.
Sorry, what?
Some musical instruments. I need like a kazoo or something to hype it up a bit, but
give me 1 second. Maybe. Hold on. Fuck it. I don't know where
I got some sound effects here I could play. Yeah, let me That's why I prefer. I don't know why I still have that one. How about this? It's competition time, boys.
Nice. So, one of the rewards that will be coming alongside the Dragon Slayer 2 is the Mythical Cape. And it offers a way to teleport, well, a new way, but a way to teleport to the Myths Guild. Sick. Pretty trashy cape, It's not that, stats aren't the best. But it looks kind of cool. But, if you've been keeping up with the design streams and the developer updates, you'll notice they haven't showcased any designs for the capes yet. Even though their artists love to design things, clearly that's a little bit of a lie because they'd also love to see your creations. And the winner of the competition will have their cape featured in the game with a Dragon Slayer 2 goodie bag.
Your real life face will be plastered on the back of the cape.
Yeah. You have to be in it to win it, so make sure you email your design at thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com with the subject line Mythical Cape Competition.
Not bad. You think they tell us about this beforehand, but no, here it is.
No, we're working alongside with Jagex now. Be sure to include your RuneScape name somewhere too. Just actually email at oldschoolcommunity@jagex.com.
Yeah, that's
yeah. Memeing a little bit too hard. They're proposing placing the cape somewhere between the Cape of Legends and the Fire Cape with the addition of some crush attack bonus.
Cape of Legends? Do they even play their game? Who calls it that?
Yeah, I don't
Legends
really know.
Cape, baby.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird way to phrase it, but yeah, who knows? Maybe they just want to be specific so someone goes like, oh, it's actually the Cape of the Legends, whatever.
Can't wait to get my Cape of Fire.
Yeah. My spicy cape, dude. Yeah, so pretty much they want you to do the art team's job for them, and yeah, also the cape will be darker than you might think while worn on a player in game. Do you remember that fiasco? Do you know why they're putting this in?
No.
And I think it was the Inferno cape. Or maybe it was the Fire. I think it was the Inferno cape. They showcased it. They're like, this is what it's going to look like. And everyone's like, yeah, it looks dope. And then they like showed it in game and everyone's like, it's too dark. What the hell?
Turn up the contrast.
And they're like, well, our game engine only lets it go up to this bright. That's actually what they said.
Really?
So,
no, I'm not aware of that. Holy shit.
It was either the Inferno cape or the Fire cape, but there was like a big fiasco. It was definitely the Inferno cape. I guess it's going like over a year and a half ago.
Wow. No, I don't remember that.
Good old school RuneScape, where everybody that's over 20 pretty much freaks out over something being too dark looking.
Non-racially.
Yeah, I just realized how that sounded like it was insinuating something, but contrast, brightness. Anyways, so they'll be accepting they'll stop accepting submissions on November 24th, and we'll select 3 designs we put out on a poll. You get to vote, and yeah, all that good stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, feedback and changes. So during the development of Dragon Slayer 2, there are 2 areas they're going to bring to our attention and they want feedback on. The first one is Dragon Bolts. And, yeah, they stated that you could add any bolt tip to them to gain the effects of the tip without increasing the base range strength. So
Sure.
The poll question would be, if the Dragon Bolts unfinished are added to the game, should it be possible to add all current bolt tips to the finished product? They would have the same effect as current bolts, with the only difference being that they'd have the same range strength as Dragon Bolts, and they'd be tradable.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they would not require the completion of the quest to use, so.
Sure. I think that's pretty sweet, because like right now, if I'm not mistaken, you have a bunch of really cool bolts. I'm going to look them up right now. Yeah, and they all have a bunch of really cool, like, not perks, but like a secondary attack. That, like, on-hit effect, I should say.
Yep.
And a lot of them you can't use unless you're using, like, mithril bolts or steel bolts. Something that, like, it just sucks. So it might have a really cool on-hit effect, but you're not going to use it because the bolts are just shit. Like, you're not hitting anything. So some of them, like, here's an example. Jade bolts, which you can only use on blue-right bolts. And who the hell uses blue-right bolts at all in the game? But the on-hit effect is Earth's Fury. Chance of knocking the target to the ground. It's kind of like a little bit of a stun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest.
Yeah, the higher the target's agility is, the higher chance they have to resist it. So another one is Pearl Bolts, which are using, pearl tips which is using oyster pearls, bolt tips on iron bolts. Again, no one's using that level of bolts. And this one's pretty cool. I thought, like, originally when I saw this, like, years back when I was playing old school RuneScape, I was like, dude, I'm going to use these whenever I fucking kill these certain type of monsters, because of course it's going to be the strongest one to use. But the on-hit effect is Sea Curse, and it's chance of striking the target with a mighty bolt of water dealing extra damage. You'll deal extra damage against fiery monsters, like the Tazar, dragons, fire giants, stuff like that.
Did we just find out a new method to beat They're to get the Inferno Cape?
Whoa, not yet. Once these come into the game.
Yeah.
Because the Pearl Bolts, yeah, you're like, oh, well, that sounds legit. But if you could use Broad Bolts, they're going to hit so much harder. It's pointless.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Another one. This one is a biggin. Wow, I forgot about this one. So Sapphire Bolts, which are used on Mithril Bolts. All right, you ready for this one?
Yep.
On hit effect, Clear Mind. Chance of lowering the target's prayer points and giving them to the attacker.
Damn, dude. Smite fights.
Whoa, smites. And then that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then we're familiar with the other ones, stuff like the Ruby Bolts, which are chance of removing 20% of the target's current hit points. Diamond Bolts hits through their armor. Dragon Bolts, it does like inflicts dragon fire hit against your target, which you see that a lot with PKing as it is.
Yep.
Then Onyx, Life Leech, chance of doing extra damage and healing the attacker by 25% of that damage.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to say the very first one because I didn't plan on reading all of them, but I basically did. Then you got one that lowers magic level if you hit them.
There's Emerald that poisons, I think.
Emerald poisons.
One of them stuns. I don't know which one stuns, but...
That was the first one I mentioned with Earth's Fury. It knocks them to the ground.
Okay, yeah. You use that on Corp. If you're with the team, you can have someone stun the little bitch.
Oh, yeah? Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Amethyst Bolts, they increase the range strength by plus 15. And they specify that
Continuing.
they have no special effect, and so adding them to the Dragon Bolts would have zero benefits, and, you know, their opinion could be swayed if the community chooses to complain about it enough.
Yep, basically.
They won't be adding them as a cosmetic, so they'd like to increase the range strength of the bolts even further. If they were to be added. They want to pull this, so like they're not really too sure, but they don't, as you know, it wouldn't really do anything. But yeah, it's kind of up to the community, as always.
Cool.
Yeah, and the next one is the Superior Dragon Bones. So it'd be guaranteed 1 drop per dragon, and they'd give 150 experience when buried, making the best bones in the game. But you need 70 prayer to use them, and the Superior Dragon Bones can also be crushed with Pestilent Mortar. And that would be the secondary ingredient to the new Superior Anti-Fire Potion.
Oh, right.
Using the potion, or the use of these bones would not be requirement of you don't need the quest to do them. And, if the Adamant and or Rune Dragons are added, should they drop these bones? And yeah. Now they've made progress in developing both dragons, they've realized that having a guaranteed drop rate of Superior Bones were far too rewarding given their difficulty. So they like to, if they were to leave this to no changes, these dragons would be more profitable than the actual boss. And they want to avoid this, so they're going to be lowering the drop rate. So I guess as of when it was pulled, it was guaranteed 1 drop per dragon, maybe. Both dragons will now drop standard dragon bones. The Addy dragon has 1/5 chance to drop the superior, and the runes have 1/3. So I guess originally they realized, oh shit, we messed up. Which is good foresight on their part.
Yep. I'm pretty sure we're both going to agree on this, but you would say the boss should probably be a better moneymaker than the normal?
Yeah, of course it should. Yeah, I like
I'm
how
be very interested to see how this does in the polls. Because obviously, most of us are going to benefit from having, an easier monster to kill that's going to have a better moneymaker than the boss, right?
Yeah, I think...
I'm sure if you want to just, for the ease of making money, you'd want that. But for, again, game integrity, since they just had that post.
So I think...
I would say the best way should be from the boss. And, it's going to be interesting to see how... This is the PVM community's turn to see how they're going to be voting on this one.
Well,
they choose for not to pass. That just seems.
So for I think they're repolling these dragons again because they were polled in the past.
Yeah,
and they're repolling them, and if they pass, then it will just they're not going to let the community have a say in the drop chance. You know what I mean? So the dragons pass, they go, oh no, we messed up. We want these bones we don't want this to be more profitable. So I think they're repolling it, and then they're saying, if If you say no, then they're not going to be in the game. But if they are, then this is the chance of the superior bones of the dragons.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misheard that. Interesting.
Because I don't think they're ever going to leave balancing changes to the community because
not after Neve's Cave and NMZ and all that shit.
Yeah, they learned. They burnt themselves a couple times on that. Fucking NMZ, god damn it. Anyways, so that was it for that, and then for this one they have. This is like what happened this week. This is like actual relevant, I guess. Does that make sense? This is like what happened.
Changes into the game.
Yeah, on the Thursday. Yeah, actual that you've probably already recognized. They've added the ability to buy 50.
Okay.
So, oh damn, you can buy 50 mine runes at a time. Bots can buy 50 death runes at a time.
Yeah, I was just gonna say after that whole game integrity thing, this comes out, you're like, all right. I mean, I'm sure bots don't really care. They're gonna be buying like, you know what I mean? And this doesn't affect too much besides just how much they can actually buy.
Mm-hmm.
No one's saying they're clicking, right? Unless you're a Venezuelan, but
yeah, but
they're out at Green Dragons apparently.
And Ents. Yeah, Serpentine Helm. It now gives a 50% chance to inflict venom when worn in conjunction with the poison inflicting weapon. So DDS, poison arrows and bolts, but not the emerald bolts, E special. Attacks that hit more than 0 will have a chance to trigger the effect and will only apply to NPCs.
Yep.
In addition to this, it will now give a 100% chance to inflict venom when worn in conjunction with venom-inflicting weapon, such as a toxic blowpipe. So if it's poison, it's 50. If it's a venom weapon, like a blowpipe, or that staff, the toxic staff of the undead or whatever, it'll be 100%. Attacks that hit more than 0 will trigger this only on NPCs.
Nice.
The Pizzazz hat, or the Pizzazz hat.
Pizza Hat.
Yeah, the Pizza Hats. The Pizzazz hat, from the Mage Training Arena will no longer wipe the player's points if you were to destroy it.
Why would you destroy that thing? That thing looks retarded. I love it.
Yeah, I have no idea, but people did, and they got mad. So, that's one more bank space to be freed up for those that aren't really willing to hold on to it, and rest in peace, Pizzazz hats. You thought you were needed, but you weren't.
Noise.
The Aram Staff has long been remembered as the worst magic weapon in the game. And the staff is now one-handed and gives a 5% magic damage increase. Shit, does that make it better than the Master Wand?
No, I don't think so.
Better not. I'm gonna be pissed if it is.
I think it's weird that it's one-handed. I know I'm nitpicking, but I feel like they should have kept it two-handed and maybe found some other ways to give it perks. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, well, like, yeah, but, you know, with the Mage Wand, like, every other staff and stuff is one-handed, which I was thinking, like,
but it's a Barrows item.
It's a Barrows item, and, like, it'd be cool to have the only two-handed mage staff, and you could still find ways to make it good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you got to pick and choose. Like, do I want this staff that's good for these reasons, but it's two-handed?
Yeah, I agree. I was hoping that the one-handed didn't pass when it did, and I was like, whatever.
It's not a big deal. It's me nitpicking, like I said.
But, like, now you're gonna need to implement an Aram shield, you know? Full set. It's probably why they had two-hander weapons, so they didn't have to make offhands for everything.
It's a slippery slope. It's only a matter of time until we see Tuareg's hammers become one-handed.
Yep. You can now get the left and the right hammer.
Oh my god. Dual wielding.
Yeah.
Shit, we are S3 now.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's it for the updates. Next up we have the Abbey Road Studio Competition. Another competition. They can't be bothered to do their own stuff. No. RuneScape holds the Guinness World Record for the most original tracks of volumes, I guess, or music tracks. At the time is 1,202.
Shit.
On December 12th, we'll be at the Abbey Road Studio for an exclusive recording session, and you and a friend could be there. You and Dovidas could be there to enjoy every second, all expenses paid.
But I don't want to go with Dovidas.
No, it's you and just a buddy. but you could always bring a friend.
Could you reach out to him?
Yeah. DM him
Yeah, I know
on
I've
Twitter.
never met you, but I feel like we're best friends. Can
Hello,
we
it's
go?
me, a fan.
Yeah.
So they want to know what is your favorite RuneScape music track. Everyone's gonna say Sea Shanty too. All right. Yep. Yeah. To enter, you just tell your answer on the official forums, Twitter, Reddit, or Instagram. Or for Twitter and Instagram, use hashtag #MyRunescapeSong.
Perfect. And which we're holding a contest too, where you guys can send us your favorite song. You guys can come over to our house for a recording session.
Yep.
No, not really. I don't even have a house.
Yeah, I have an apartment. I think my neighbors hate me already because I'm loud enough.
Yeah, no recording, no rap beats.
Yeah.
But okay, what's your favorite song? Do you have one that comes off the top of your head?
Actually, oh my god, I don't think I have it written down. I had a couple songs written down. It's like Autumn something.
Autumn Elegy?
No, Autumn.
They have some legit good, they have a shit ton of good songs on RuneScape.
Autumn Voyage.
Tell me if this is it. Is this it?
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's not bad. So that's the one. Where is that from? Do you know? What area?
I have no idea. I can look it up, but I just it just brings me back to being a little kid listening to the RuneScape music. I don't know why. I just imagine myself being 8 or 9 playing RuneScape, listening to it.
Yeah, back in the day when I used to play with all the sound effects on and stuff, I had some songs I would literally I'd turn the music on to manual and have a song on repeat.
Yep.
Tell me if you know what song this is. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's so good.
I have no idea.
That's tight. I can barely remember where it's from. I always thought it was in the wilderness, but at the same time, I just when I hear this song, I'm picturing myself in Barbarian Village. So I don't know if it maybe moved around and stuff, but
yeah, I don't know.
it's either by the Draenor Manor or it's in the wilderness at some point. But that's the soundtrack Dark.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I looked up Autumn Voyage, and it's near the cows in Lumbridge. So that makes sense.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the first songs you hear.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
One of the more recent songs that I thought were pretty good is the Zulrah music. Yeah, not bad. This is pretty good. There's sometimes I'm at Zulrah and I'll actually have this song playing just because I'm I thoroughly enjoy this. If I could put it on my Spotify playlist, I definitely would.
Mm-hmm. Jam out some old school beats.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, it's pretty quality. Yeah.
They do good music.
If you guys actually have a favorite song, I'd kind of be down to know what it is. You can always let us know.
Yeah, maybe we'll throw it at the end of the podcast too, because I have a bunch of them downloaded from. I don't even know how I fucking got this, but I always throw one at the end of it, just kind of go down the list,
Yep.
Oh, last one. I don't know. Oh God, this was from the Gargoyle boss. I don't know if you had a chance to do the boss and listen to the actual music, but I thought it was pretty good. Dope shit. Yeah? What do you think?
Pretty intense. The production quality. I guess there's a lot more instruments, I guess? Is that the right? Some more sounds, I guess? Because I guess it's the newer, obviously, but yeah, I like it. You can tell a lot more effort went into it.
Yeah, so that was from a channel called the RuneScape Reorchestra. So they might have kind of made a more high quality version of it.
Oh, truth. I was gonna say, like, that's
Yeah, I was listening to that. I'm like, this doesn't. It sounds great, but like it doesn't fit with the other songs we listen to.
yeah.
Which are like the like 8-bit music almost.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, sorry, enough of that. That's a trip down memory lane, I suppose, except for those last two.
Yeah. We'll move on to the OSRS mobile and update. So pretty much it's coming out in January 2018.
Nice.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. They, have some pictures of people playing mobile, like, one guy's like on a boat for some reason.
Okay.
Playing, where is he in game? I think he's in Lumbridge?
Yeah.
Looks like Lumbridge near like the wheat fields. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Let me zoom in on this.
This makes for some good podcast content.
Okay, Buddy's wearing a rune skirt, Slayer helmet, Abba's accumulator. Is that a anti-dragonfire shield? What is this noob wearing? Why is he in Lumbridge? He's got a cow task.
I feel like I'm in Lumbridge.
It's
good.
But yeah, coming out in January. Yeah.
Some J-mods are going to be having some 1v1 battles on mobile. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing that I think is kind of interesting, they're going to be telling you how much storage it's going to use and the average data used per hour.
Yeah, and battery life and stuff like that.
So those are the big ones.
Yeah, it'll be pretty good.
Won't be surprised if it gets pushed past January, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, they might have Dragon Slayer 2 come out and then mobile, or maybe mobile. I don't know. Depends what gets people more into it.
You got to beat Dragon Slayer in order to do play on mobile.
Yeah. The bots, dude. Bot prevention.
Nice.
But yeah, that is it for all the updates.
Cool. Okay, so I guess we can move on to my little section where the things that I've seen going on in the community this week. So, on the topic of the Aram staff, I know I think you brought it up, but there was a Redditor who would post about how many Aram staffs he had.
Yep.
Right? Which was like 82,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then this change happened, and then he made a post saying, like, okay, I was fooling. And it was a gif of him kind of erasing the Aram's note, and it showed bronze daggers, and he's like, okay, it's actually bronze daggers that I had. But he actually made a post saying, my loot from 7 months of shit posting on Reddit. So he talks about 2 years ago, he was getting tired of the game, and he was playing less and less, and he was pretty much going to quit, and he had about 500 mil sitting in his bank. And, you know, most people who quit the game tend to come back to RuneScape at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So he decided to do something with his money instead of letting it sit there. And he says he noticed that the Aram staff were at their alk price. And basically by putting a lot of money and spending all the 500 mil into Aram staffs, you're not really going to lose anything if they don't go up. Because they'll never go down below alk price. You can always just alk them for your 500 mil back for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, he says he spent about all of his money and bought a bunch of Aram staffs. And then he decided to have some fun while he wasn't really playing RuneScape. And he started making some Reddit memes or pictures. Is every joke a meme these days? Is that what we're going with?
If it's picture-based, yeah, it's probably just a meme.
Okay, well, anyways, he made a post being like, here are 230 magic weapons that are better than the Aram staff. And it was basically showing like almost every weapon in the game and saying like if you pair it with any good shield or like the Arcane Spirit shield gives you plus 20 magic, it'll be better than the Aram staff. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And as long as your weapon, your main hand weapon isn't negative in magic, then, or at least not too negative, it'll be better than the Aram staff. So yeah, they does that, and it gets pretty popular. I think it makes like the front page at the time, and you know people make some jokes and stuff like that. And then people started talking about maybe giving the staff a buff. And that's when it got mentioned last April on the QA stream about should we buff the staff? Maybe. And they started talking about it. And he says here, this is when he started getting the idea, like, this might actually happen. And if you've paid attention to the Q&As, there have been a bunch of decent ideas, or ideas that were pretty well received, that eventually over time just kind of fade away because they answer like 10 questions or 20 questions every Q&A, and it's easy for you just to forget something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he says here that he didn't want that to happen with the Aram staff. So instead of just letting it fade away after that, he started making a bunch of pictures about, kind of memeing on the Aram staff and how bad it is. So he has one of those ones where it's like, he has a few pictures, just, I'm not going to even explain it, but let's see. So he starts making these pictures that are like kind of joking on the fact of how terrible the Aram staff is. One of them is a picture, it's called Aram's New Best Friend, and it was a picture of the Aram's ghost from Barrows, and he's holding a bronze dagger and a spirit shield, and he's stepping on his staff. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he was just trying to keep the idea alive by constantly having these memes or posts, these jokes pop up to the front page every so often to kind of keep it to kind of keep it fresh in people's minds. Well, you know how much the subreddit loves shit like that, right? Just like memes and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And then, anyways, so fast forward to like a couple weeks ago, whenever it was passing, or when it was confirmed that it was going to pass, and he said, okay, I don't actually have 83,000 Aram staffs. They're actually bronze daggers. But he actually did have a lot of Aram staff, and he didn't actually copy a bronze dagger onto the note, but instead he just added an 8 to the end of the 83,000. So really he has 8.3 thousand.
Mm.
And so anyways, they jumped about 300k each, and he sold them, so he paid about 500 mil for them, and he left with 1.8 bill afterwards.
Jesus.
He's kind of afterthoughts on it. He just wanted to, like, I guess, be up in front about it, but he says, like, people shouldn't be afraid. Like, you see a lot of ideas get pitched that get shot down because someone's afraid of someone else merching that item.
Yeah.
Like, I saw somebody do a suggestion for a Dragon Mace, and Mod Archie kind of took the liberty to go check that guy's account, sort of, or the account data, and figured out the guy had a bunch of Dragon Maces he had saved up. The idea wasn't that good anyways, but anyway, what he's trying to say, though, is, like, people shouldn't be afraid of other people merching these items. Because we'll use the Aram's example, for instance. If people weren't stocking up on them to hopefully merch them in the future, people would probably just be alking them or selling them to Karamja shop, where they would just disappear from the game. And suddenly when this change happened, they might have went up to a lot more than just 300k. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to have people stockpiling them. Mm-hmm. But basically what he was saying is, like, we shouldn't be, like, thinking of updates on whether or not someone who's merching this item is going to get a benefit from it to an extent. And it should be more valued on their merits, or, like, how well the actual update is. Anyways, I just thought it was pretty interesting when I saw that. And I wanted to bring it up because I know you mentioned it in the past about, the hoarding of different, like, Aram staffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's about it for that actual part. Another thing I had seen is they released the current pet count in the game. I'm going to ask you, what do you think is the most popular pet in the game? What do you think is the least popular pet?
Least popular is Penance Pet. Most popular I would guess would be Cave Kraken or Zalra.
Okay. So the most popular pet is actually the Heron.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. With currently there's 28.5 thousand of those in the game.
Damn.
Second most popular is the Beaver.
Really?
25.2 thousand.
Damn.
Third is the Kraken with 23,000, and then it goes to Rock Golem at 17,000, and then the Snakeling at 17,000, but just a little bit under. Anyways, and the actual lowest count of pet in the game is the Jal Nib Wreck. Basically Inferno Cape boss. There's 24 of those in the game currently.
Right, I forgot about that.
I can't believe there's only 24. But
I'm surprised there's 24.
Yeah. It's been out for like 8 months, hasn't it?
Yeah, but how many people actually have an Inferno Cape?
Yeah, I guess, but still. Yeah, I guess you're right. The Penance Pet, though, it's actually in like 4th place or something. It beats the Bloodhound and the Gargoyle Pet. Obviously, the Gargoyle Pet's kind of new, right? So, but yeah, it's pretty interesting to see. So that's something I'm going to post up on the Discord, and maybe I'll post up that Reddit post as well about the Aram staff if people are interested. But yeah, it's just a chart from Mod Lottie on Twitter. It's kind of interesting. It shows you all the normal players that have it, all the Iron Men, all the Ultimate Iron Men, and all the Hardcore Iron Men. It's it's kind of interesting to see. Like when you look at the Ultimate Iron Men, the most popular pet is Rocky, the thieving pet, which makes sense.
Yeah,
because they're thieving for all their money and stuff. But yeah, okay. So there's the little pet fun facts, I suppose. And since we love talking about PvP so much, I saw this little suggestion, which I thought was a great idea. So I thought I'd bring it up and see what you think. You know how they are bringing in that obelisk portal or the obelisk teleport within the player-owned house? Maybe it was last episode or the episode before. I talked about how someone made a suggestion for a player-owned house room, a room in the player-owned house that was like a PvP room that it would kind of fit in there better. Mm-hmm. So someone made a suggestion with some other things that might go along with a PvP room, and I thought they were pretty good. So there's an idea where it's a mounted skull. This would give a player a skull, your normal 20-minute skull, when you click it. Because you can currently get one from one of the people at Edgefill. He can give you a skull for free. Yeah. But now you can get one in your player-owned house. Another one's called the decantation table. It would allow you to, I guess, divide up your potions. So, for instance, you have a 4-dose and you want to spread it into 4 1-doses. Mm-hmm. Or whatever. You could split them up without having to manually click different files. You could do this on this table in your player-owned house. Another one was just the idea of having the obelisk portal in that room. And this was in hopes that the loot keys were going to pass, but I guess they're not going to. But one would be a key chest where you could exchange your loot keys. A mounted burning amulet. So you can do that with your glory right now. You can mount it on the wall, which will allow you to teleport unlimited time. Like you could teleport as many times as you want with it. This would do the same thing, but with a burning amulet. And lastly, they had suggested was a mounted combat scroll, which would show your kills to death ratio and like your rogue and bounty hunter scores and rank.
Yeah.
So something similar to what they can do with your bosses. They can see how many kill count you have on it when you have it on display. This would do it for PvP.
Yeah, I mean, I like all those suggestions minus the loot keys, but
yeah,
we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, pretty cool suggestion though. I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Pretty unique idea. And I believe that's basically it. That's all that I had seen going on this week in the community. Your non-news related stuff, I guess. Mm-hmm. Gossip? RuneScape gossip? Shall we move on?
Yep.
That means it is time for... It is our quick minute of lore. We still haven't decided a name on that. I don't think we ever will.
No, it'll just change it every week until it works out.
Perfect. So, last week we talked about Zamorak. And continuing on with the theme of gods, we're going to move on to the god bandos. So this one's going to be a bit shorter because not as much info as the other bigger gods, but I'm sure that's understandable. So Bandos, also known as the god of war or the big high war god, he is highly aggressive and violent and values things such as loyalty and glory in battle. he doesn't seem to value his followers too much, in the sense that he fights solely for the sake of battle and doesn't really care if his army gets wiped out in the process. Many of his followers obey him out of fear, whether they agree with him or not. Bandos has 4 commandments that he likes to live by, and he wants his followers to live by. These are: never run from battle, never show mercy, never doubt the god of war, and never make your own plans. So basically, always follow his plans. Always obey what his plans. Bandos arrived on a Gielinor during the start of the God Wars, which takes place in the Third Age. And with him, he brings several different races to fight for him. Some of these races are ogres, orcs, goblins, and orgs. Until recently, Bandos was almost completely forgotten by the humans of Gielinor due to his disappearance after the God Wars. But there are still a lot of his followers that remain in the world and still worship him to this date. The goblins referred to Bandos as the Sky Goblin, even though he's not actually a goblin. But fun fact, the cave goblins, which are descendants of the goblins that live underground, they deserted there during the God Wars, and they did that to escape punishment by Bandos. So they aren't really the type that worship him too much. And during the God Wars, Bandos banished the race the Dorgashun, which are the type of cave goblins that live underneath Lumbridge. And in doing this causes them to erupt in a civil war. And once the battle ends, the city Dorgish Khan is found, which is where they currently reside. I believe that's it this week for Bandos. You know, that's a hard one to find information about. You know, I'm scouring the internets, and it gets tough sometimes.
Yeah.
So I've thought about even making a new account and going through all the quests and trying to pay more attention, reading all the books and scripts that they give you, and actually paying attention to most of the dialogue. But that's for the future. And anyways, next week we will continue on with the gods of RuneScape.
Yeah.
Okay. That being said, should we do that? Should we do that thing we do where we tell people how they can get in contact with us before we finish up the show?
I think it's time.
All right. I do too. So, guys, if you want to get in contact, ask us questions, tell us stories, give us feedback, whatever it is, you can do that in a number of different ways. Our Twitter is @TheWildernessRS. Our Facebook is facebook.com/TheWildernessPodcast. Our email is TheWildernessPodcast@gmail.com. Our in-game clan chat is WildCC. Should really be saying that first, eh? Whatever. And we also have a Discord as well. And if that's something you want to join, we will get a link out to you. Oh, we have it posted on Facebook as well. I think I should pin it up on Twitter.
Yeah, it might be a good idea.
We also have a YouTube channel, which is where we post all of our podcasts on there as well. So you can find that just by searching the Wilderness Podcast. I think eventually I might cut out some of the lower parts and just throw them up there as their own little playlist, because there's not the most content on YouTube about old school RuneScape lore. So, I don't know. Maybe some people would enjoy just that in itself. I don't know. Who knows? And I think that's it. Got anything going on next week?
School. That's about
Schoolio.
it. Nice. Yeah, nothing too interesting.
I feel that. I'm probably going to be at another Airbnb for the next podcast. Oh, God, kill me.
Nice. When are you getting into your place?
So the planned date is December 1st.
All right, it's not bad. It's close.
Yeah, it's the house is getting renovated, and just got to deal with shitty trades. Not shitty trades, but stupid issues with trades.
Yep.
And kind of, it's like it all works in like a process, right? So let's say you got to get drywall on all the walls. I'm just going to use that as an example. But you got to get it insulated first. So then you have a date for the insulator. He takes 1 day. Then you need, like, let's say 3 days for the drywall guys. And then you have the painters coming the next day. So let's say the insulator doesn't show up on his day. And he just comes 2 days later. The drywall guy comes, like, right after the insulator, and then he's like, what the fuck? These aren't insulated yet.
Yeah.
So then you have to push him back, and then the insulator comes. Then you call the drywall guys back, and they're like, hey, we're pretty busy for the next week, so we're going to have to take another week before we can get there. So then you got to push back the painters. You know what I mean? It all just gets pushed back.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's fucking... But December 1st is the planned date. I'm pretty pumped. There's hopefully I'm going to be able to have a room like in the basement or something that I could just use as like the podcast recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put a little red light on the other side of the door so that people can know when I'm recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. Shall we skedaddle?
Yeah, I think it's time.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening. Tune in next week as always.
Yeah, have a good one.
Toodles. Bye.